Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Archer's Garage and Whatnot. Today we're back in the garage and we are doing tie rod ends. About to say ball joints. We're doing tie rod ends on a 2005 Ford F-150. A friend of mine called me up and his are a little bit bad. I'll show you what I mean by a little bit bad. And he didn't feel comfortable enough doing these himself. And I said, go ahead and bring them over. And I wasn't actually going to film this, but I thought, why do I have this channel? This is the exact reason. You've got a person that has mechanical ability, that doesn't have the confidence in doing a certain job. This is it. So I want to show you guys that everybody can do this, and you can save yourself hundreds and hundreds of dollars in your driveway with basic hand tools. So let's get started. I'm going to show you what we're looking at on this thing and show you how you can do it. All right, so what we're looking at here, this is a pretty bad one. I haven't seen one this bad in a while, but typically what you'll do when you're checking for tie rod ends when they're bad is you'll grab the tire at 3 and 9 and try to wiggle them back and forth. Usually you'll get a little bit of play. You'll want to look at your ball joint, or excuse me, the tie rod end, and you'll see a little bit of play in there. This one here, if you'll look, it's got some pretty darn good play. So anyhow, we've already looked at it underneath. That is the problem. So first thing we need to do, jack up the vehicle. I always recommend jack stands, because if you've ever seen a jack give way, they give way quickly, and you wouldn't be able to get out from under this thing quickly enough, and no sense getting hurt doing this stuff. So anyhow, we jacked up the truck. Got to take the tire off and get in there to it. All right, so we got the tire off. Next thing you want to do, get in here, you want to break this lock nut loose, or jam nut. So this is what locks your tie rod end to the inner tie rod end. So you break this loose so you can unscrew it from the inner tie rod. So once you get this loose, then you can knock this nut loose. And one side is right hand thread, one side is left hand thread. So you can look at it by just seeing the threads on the inner tie rod and just judging which way you need to spin your nut to get it loose. And they're going to be a little bit tight, as you can see this one is. Whew. There we go. Get my wrench out there. All right, so she broke loose. And then you get your gun on here. Whoop. I may have to get a longer socket on here. Yep. All right. Let me get a longer socket. All right. We've got our longer socket on there. So this one here was bottoming out on the stud that's in there. So on these, I like to just get them up a little bit, because now I want to get in here with a hammer and smack the knuckle so it just jars it enough where your tie rod end drops down. So you don't want to take it all the way off, because then you're going to damage your threads. And if you're reusing this for any reason at all, if you're just taking this apart to do other work, that's a big deal. Today it wouldn't be a huge deal, but if you had to reuse this, it would be. Let's see. Here's where you can see how bad it truly is in there. That's a bad ball joint, or bad tie rod end, excuse me. All right. Put your keys in here. Mm-hmm. All right. There it is. Simple as that. All right. So here's where it gets difficult. I've got my impact on here. I'm trying to take it loose, and it's spinning the socket inside. So what you need to do now is get a wrench to hold the nut and get another socket on here and go righty-tighty and tighten this one down so it spins down inside the nut. So if you're doing this by hand, this is surely going to happen to you. So if you've got an impact, this doesn't always happen, but if you're doing it by hand, this is going to happen. So anyhow, so like I said, you're going to hold where the wrench is probably wrong side. Nah, that's right side. Nah, that's too big. Anyhow, you'll hold this and then you'll drive this one down with the correct side. All right, so here we go. So we've got our 10 millimeter, and then we put our 13/16, which is probably a 21 millimeter, but 13/16 works just fine. And then we go forward with it, just like that. That's as easy as it gets, guys. And there you are. Out she comes. Now, the trick to this is you want to count how many times you screw this off. So when you put the new one on, you put that on the same amount of times, and that will get your alignment pretty close to being on. You still want to get an alignment on this when you get it done, but this will make it safe enough where you can go down the street and you're not tearing up your tires and all that. So just count your rotations. Oh, wow, look at that thing. So 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. So there we go. All right, we ran into a little bit of a snag on these. The new tie rod end takes a castle nut with a cotter pin that goes through it. The factory one did not. It took a lock nut on there. So the new one did not come with a cotter pin in the bag. For some reason or other, somebody felt the need to take the nut out of the bag or out of the box, but it still had the cotter pin in the box. So we had to go back to the store. We made sure that they are the right ones. If you look side by side, the collar length is the same. So don't get scared if they look a little bit different. If you see here, the threads are a little bit different here and here. These are exposed, so you don't really need that anyway. But the big thing is the shoulder here. So as long as that goes into the knuckle, that's what you're looking for. So that'll go in there. You screw your nut on there, then you put your cotter pin in there to hold the nut on, and then you're good. All right, new one's in, tightened up, cotter pin's in, we're snugged up. Now all we need is alignment. And if you see here, I'm shaking the wheel back and forth, and no more sloppiness. And the other side is the same as this one. So repeat, or rinse and repeat. So just same thing over there. All right, guys. So the tie rod job is done. Truck's gone. My buddy's happy. It drives like a, as he just said, brand new Cadillac. So I guess that's good for an old F-150, right? So the whole point of this channel is to empower just common people to be able to do jobs like this in their garage to save themselves a bunch of money, so they don't have to go to the big shops and spend all their money on stuff they don't have to do. You could do stuff like this with common hand tools. Now we use some air wrenches and stuff on this job just because we have them. Did we have to use them? No, you could do this with hand tools, but we had the air tools, so we use those. But anybody could have done this. My buddy called. He said, this is what I need. I don't feel comfortable doing it. Now, I personally feel he's got the knowledge he could do this. He didn't feel comfortable doing it. So it would have cost him a couple, maybe $300 if he'd gone to any shop to do this. Plus, they're going to mark up whatever parts that it needed. So let's say you went to the parts store, you buy the parts for X amount of dollars, and then they're going to charge 10, 15% on top of that. He just paid whatever they charge, and then we knocked it out. So he saved probably a good $350 over what a shop would have charged. And now he's just got to go pay for an alignment. A little bit of initiative, common hand tools, and you could do nearly anything on these cars, especially when it comes to preventative maintenance like this. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining me here on Archer's Garage and Whatnot. I enjoy everybody, and I hope you enjoy me. If you enjoy this stuff, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and I hope you have a blessed day, everybody. See you next time.